Hello friends, since last lecture we have been learning 4.2 the storyteller. How should be the storyteller, which skills are needed to tell a story we are going to learn in this lesson. This is a story of one family. We have seen that in the carriage of the train there was one family. There was one small girl, one smaller girl and one small boy with their aunt. As well as there was one stranger in the same compartment. He was total stranger of that family. Those little kids were wandering here and there, and with their presence they had occupied the whole compartment, whole carriage. They were troubling their aunt by asking too much questions. Some were baseless questions. For those questions their aunt could not answer. Once, while traveling, aunt of those kids called those kids near the window and asked them to look out of the window. She showed some cows and bullocks, some sheep which had been being driven out of that field. At that time, on that question, those kids asked her why those sheep had been driven out of their field. At that time, their aunt replied them that because the grass in other field would be better. At that time, those kids did not remain quiet. They again asked why the grass in that other field was better. On that question, the aunt did not have any answer. So she tried to draw their attention to other thing, and she told them that she showed them the cows and bullocks in the field, and that was common. In each field there had been cows and bullocks, but their aunt spoke in such way that it had been so rare thing, but it was common. She wanted to draw their attention from that question. 8. Cyril had not forgotten that question. Page number 86. I start from that first line again. Why is the grass in other field better? Persisted Cyril, but Cyril did not stop there. He persisted for that question. He again asked why was the grass in other field better. The frown on the bachelor face was deepening to a scowl. To scowl means angry look. Due to those repeated questions, that bachelor was getting irritated, that bachelor was getting angry, and he finally got angry. His facial expression showed his anger. He had been getting so angry, so irritated due to those kids, due to that conversation, due to those questions. He was hard, unsympathetic, unkindful man the aunt decided in her mind when the aunt saw them at that time, she decided that bachelor must have been very hard and unsympathetic man. She was utterly unable to come to any satisfying decision about the grass in other field, but she could not answer. She could not give any satisfactory decision about the grass in the other field. She could not answer properly. She could not answer so that the kids would be satisfied. At that time, look what happened. The smaller girl created a diversion by beginning to recite on the road to Mandale. At that time, one smaller girl started singing some lines from the song on the road to Mandale. Their aunt had been in confusion what to answer about that grass. She was not able to answer them which would satisfy them, but fortunately the smaller girl diverted the subject by starting song on the road to Mandalay. She only knew the first line, but she put her limited knowledge to the fullest possible use. Look, she had known only one line, but she had been reciting that first line again and again so forcefully and skillfully. She only knew the first line, but she put her limited knowledge to the fullest possible use. She repeated the line over and over again in a dreamy but resolute and very audible voice. Look, she repeated that line again and again in a dreamy, in a resolute but very audible voice. Her voice was very audible. She had been repeating only one line in very firmly, in very confidently, and her voice had been so audible. It seemed to the bachelor as though someone had a bet with her that she could not repeat the line aloud 2,000 times without stopping. As like it had been a bet. It seemed to the bachelor as though someone had a bet with her that she could not repeat the line aloud 2,000 times without stopping. It had been like a bet. The bachelor thought that someone had bet on that girl could not repeat that line thousands times without stopping. Whoever it was who had made the wager was likely to lose his bet, but whoever had bet, definitely that person would lose that bet, because that girl was so resolute. The girl had been so confident. She had been again and again repeating that line. "Come over here and listen to story," said the aunt. When the bachelor had looked twice at her. When that bachelor looked at girl for 2 times in anger at that time, her aunt called her near her and she told her to listen one story which she had been telling. At that time, that bachelor got a bit angry after listening one line again and again. So when the aunt of that girl looked at bachelor's angry mood, at that time she called her and she told her that she should listen a story. The children moved listlessly, inactively towards the aunt's end of the carriage. At that time, the children moved inactively towards aunt's end of the carriage. Evidently means finally. Evidently, her reputation as a storyteller did not rank high in their estimation. But when the aunt started to tell her story, her reputation as a storyteller was not good. Evidently, finally, her reputation as a storyteller did not rank high in their estimation. Estimation means opinion. Those kids must have thought that the story of Aunt would be so nice, would be interesting, but when they heard the story finally, they decided that their aunt had not been good as a storyteller. Evidently, her reputation as a storyteller did not rank high in their estimation. It means those kids did not like her story. In low, confidential voice, interrupted at frequent intervals by loud, petulant questioning from her listener. Petulant means unreasonable. Questioning from her listener, she began an unenterprising. Unenterprising means very boring, ineffective, deplorably uninteresting, deplorable in a very bad way, uninteresting story about a little girl who was good and made friends with everyone on account of her goodness and was finally saved from a mad bull by a number of rescuers who admire her moral character. Look, that aunt had told them a story about a little girl who had been so good, and due to her goodness, she had made friends, and finally, one day she had been saved from a mad bull by a number of rescuers who had admired her moral character, who had admired her good nature. When their aunt had been telling that story at that time, she had been frequently interrupted, disturbed by many questions by those little kids, and in that way she began her very boring, uninteresting story about that little girl. According to that aunt, that girl had been so good, her nature was so good, everyone would admire her, and once in one incident she had been saved from a mad bull by a number of rescuers who had admired her good nature, her good thought, her good personality. It means she had been good-natured girl, she had been very good, so she had been saved by that mad bull. Look, when the aunt of those little kids told the story to them at that time, look which questions did those kids ask. Wouldn't they have saved her if she hadn't been good? Demanded the bigger of the small girls. At that time, the bigger of the small girls asked if that girl had not been good, then they would not have saved her. Wouldn't they have saved her? Look, according to that bigger of the small girl, she was very little, but look how understandable and how talented she was. She asked her if that little girl in the story had not been very good, then wouldn't they have saved that little girl? It was exactly the question that the bachelor had wanted to ask. The same question the bachelor wanted to ask to their aunt. Well, yes, admitted the aunt lamely. Lamely means very ineffective way. But I don't think they would have run quite so fast to help her if they had not liked her so much. According to their aunt, if those rescuers had not liked that little girl so much, then they would not have run quite so far to save her. It means, according to their aunt, that girl had been so good, that girl had been so good natured. That's why those people had saved that little girl. That aunt replied them that yes, if those rescuers had not liked her so much, then they would not have taken risk to save her by running from far distance. It's the stupidest story I have ever heard, said the big girl of the small girl with immense conviction, strong belief. After that, all kids started to give their opinion. The big girl of the small girl replied, it had been the stupidest story which she had heard. It had been the stupidest story which she had heard in her life. She gave her opinion with strong trust, with strong belief. According to her, it had been the stupidest story which she had heard. I didn't listen after the first bit, it was so stupid, said Cyril. Cyril also replied that he stopped listening the story after first passage, after first bit. According to him, the story had been so stupid. The smaller girl made no actual comment on the story, but she had long ago recommenced repeated, murmured repetition of her favorite line. Look, the smaller girl had not commented on the story, but before all of them, she had started her favorite line of that song. It means she did not like the story, but she did not comment any of the story. She had stopped listening the story and she had started repeating that first line of the poem before all of them. It means no one had liked that story. According to them, it had been so stupid a story. According to them, the story was without any message, without any good moral. You don't seem to be success as a storyteller, said Bachelor suddenly from his corner. At that time, Bachelor told that aunt that she had not been very good as a storyteller. She had not been successful as a storyteller. Look, Bachelor had been also listening the story, but he had not commented. After listening the comments of all those little kids, he also broke his silence and commented by telling that, according to him, that lady had not been successful as a storyteller. The aunt bristled means got angry in instant defense at this unexpected attack. When the aunt listened her unexpected attack at that time, she got so angry. She did not like that comment of that bastard, and that also from very stranger person. When she listened that unexpected opinion from that bachelor at that time, really, she got so furious on him. It's a very difficult thing to tell stories that children can both understand and appreciate. She said steeply, harshly. At that time, she very hardly told him that it had been a very difficult thing to tell stories that the children can both understand and appreciate. According to her, it was very difficult thing to tell stories which children can both understand and appreciate. I don't agree with you, said the bachelor. At that time, bachelor refused to agree with the statement. Bachelor strongly refused to agree with that statement. Perhaps you would like to tell them story, was the aunt retorted. At that time, aunt retorted, aunt commended him whether he would like to tell them story. It means she challenged him to tell them a successful and interesting story which would be liked and understood by them. Perhaps you would like to tell them a story, was the aunt's retort at that time. That aunt commanded him by asking whether he would like to tell them a story. Tell us a story, demanded the bigger of the small girls. At that time, the bigger of the small girls demanded from that bachelor to tell them an interesting story. Once upon a time, began the bachelor, there was a little girl called Bertha who was extraordinarily good. After listening the request of those little kids, after listening the challenge given by that lady, that bachelor agreed to tell an interesting story, and she started to tell them an interesting story. Look. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Bertha who was very extraordinarily good. The bachelor told them that there had been one girl, her name was Bertha, and she was very extraordinarily good-natured girl. All children had been so interested for his story. But now look what happened. The children's momentarily aroused interest began at once to flicker. All stories seemed dreadfully alike, no matter who told them. Before starting the story, all those kids had been so interested. Their interest had been rose too much. They must have felt that the bachelor was going to tell a very interesting story. But when they listened, the first bit about that girl and that girl was very good. They must have thought this story would be same as like their own story. So, their momentary rise spirit came to down, started to flicker. According to them, all stories were dreadfully alike, no matter who told them. She did all that she was told, but bachelor continued his story. She did all that she was told. She was always truthful. She kept her clothes clean, ate milk puddings as though they were jam tarts, learned her lessons perfectly, and was polite in her manners. The that bachelor told her all good qualities. She would do all works, whatever she would be asked. She was always truthful. She would keep her clothes clean. She would keep her clothes clean. She would eat products of milk. She would eat milk puddings as though they were jam tarts. Tart means having sharp taste. She would complete her homework in time. She would learn her lessons perfectly. She was very obedient, very polite in her manners. She was very polite, very obedient in her manners. All good qualities had been told by the bachelor of that Bertha. Bertha was the name of that girl. Was she pretty? Pretty beautiful. Asked the bigger of the small girls. At that time, the bigger of the small girls asked whether Bertha had been so beautiful. Not as pretty as any of you, said the bachelor, but she was horribly good, extremely good. At that time, bachelor told them she had not been as beautiful as one of them. And again added, she was extremely good. She was horribly good, she was extremely good. There was a wave of reaction in favor of story. The word horrible in connection with goodness was novelty that commanded itself. After listening horribly good, the interest of those kids arose. There was a wave of reaction in favor of the story because the word horrible in connection with goodness was novelty that commanded itself. It means when they heard horribly good at that time, their interest started to rise in that story because the word horrible in connection with goodness was very novel idea, very interesting thing. So they started to listen that story very attentively, very interestingly. It seemed to introduce a ring of truth that was absent from the earth's tales of infant life. Look, it seemed to introduce a ring of truth that was absent from the earth's tales of infant life. They thought it was very interesting story. They thought that a ring of truth had been revealed in the bachelor story which had been absent, which had not been in that earned story. It means some people tell story very differently, very interestingly, and according to those little kids, the bachelor was telling the story very interestingly. Some new concepts had been in that story which had been absent in that. Right now, look that story. First part had been completed. Second part, just 1 minute. I start second part. Okay, let's start. Look, how was the story? She was so good, continued the bachelor, that she won several medals for goodness, which she always wore pinned onto her dress. Look, bachelor again told them that Bertha had been so good due to her goodness. She had won several medals due to her goodness. She had won several medals and she would always carry those medals with her. She would pin those medals to her dress and she would always carry those medals with her. She was a really good natured girl. Due to her good nature, she had been awarded with medals for goodness. There was one medal for obedience, another medal for punctuality, and third medal for good behavior. Look, there was one medal for obedience, another medal for punctuality, and third medal for good behavior. Total, there had been 3 medals. First was for obedience, second was for punctuality, and third was for good behavior. They were large metal medals and they clicked against one another as she walked. Look, those medals were of large metal medals, and whenever she would walk at that time, those medals would click against one another. Those medals would click to one another, making sound. No other child in the town where she lived had as many as 3 medals, so everybody knew that she must be an extra good child. Look, no other child of her age in that town where she had been living had as 3 medals as her, and so due to those medals, everybody would admire her, everybody would appreciate her, everybody knew that Bertha had been very good child, extra good child. Because in that town there had been many girls, but no one had as 3 medals as Bertha had. So everyone had admiration, everyone had praising feeling for her, and so they knew she had been so extra good child. Horribly good, quoted Cyril. Again Cyril quoted, she was not only good but horribly good, because the bachelor had before mentioned as horribly good. So Cyril again pointed that point, horribly good. Everybody talked about her goodness, and prince of the country got to hear about it. Everyone would discuss about her goodness in the whole town, and once the prince of that country heard about that Bertha, heard about the goodness of Bertha, and he said that as she was so very good, she might be allowed once a week to walk, which was just outside the town. When the prince of that country heard about that Bertha at that time, she told that as she had been so good, she would be allowed in the park once in a week to walk, which park had been outside the town. Look, that prince, as soon as she knew the information of that girl, he praised her heartily, and not only admired, but he allowed that Bertha to wander in his royal garden once in a week, which had been outside the town. It means due to her goodness, due to her kindful nature, she had been awarded by the prince by allowing her to visit her royal garden once in a week, to wander in that garden. Were there any sheep in the park? Demanded Cyril. At that time, Cyril asked the bachelor whether there had been any sheep in the park. At that time, Cyril asked whether there had been any sheep in the park. No, said the bachelor, there were no sheep. At that time, bachelor replied that there had not been any sheep, but there were other small, harmless animals in the park. But there had been a lot of small, harmless animals in the park. The storyteller paused to let a full idea of the past treasure sink into the chieftain's imagination. Then he resumed. At that time, after telling about that royal garden, the storyteller is that bachelor stopped for some time to let a full idea of the past treasure enter into children's imagination. It means after mentioning about the royal garden, that bachelor paused for some time so that those kids could imagine how would be that royal garden. What facilities would be in that royal garden. So to imagine that those things, he stopped for some time. Then again he resumed, continued. Bertha was rather sorry to find that there were no flowers in the park. Look, when Bertha knew that there had been no flowers in that garden at that time, she had been a bit upset. She had been feeling very nervous. Bertha was rather sorry to find that there were no flowers in the park because everyone likes flowers, colorful, sweet, fragrance flowers. But in that garden, there had not been any flowering plant. When Bertha knew that there had not been flowers at that time, she had been upset. She had promised her aunts with tears in her eyes that she would not pick any of the kind princess flowers, and she had meant to keep her promise, of course. It made her feel silly to find that there were no flowers to pick. Before coming from home, she had promised her mother that she would not pick any flower from garden of that prince, and she would always keep her promise. But when she realized that there had not been any flower at that time, she felt very silly to promise in that way. Before coming from the house, as she was obedient girl, she had promised her mother not to pick out, not to touch any flower in that garden. And as obedient girl, she had to promise, had to keep her promise. But unfortunately, there was not a single flowering plant. When she came to know that, she felt very silly of herself for promising her mother in that way. Why weren't there any flowers? Someone asked her. Why weren't there any flowers? Someone asked her about not having flowers in that garden. Because the animals had eaten them all, said the bachelor promptly, instantly. At that time, the bachelor instantly answered because all animals had eaten them. The gardeners had told the prince that he couldn't have animals and flowers, so he decided to have animals, no flowers. When that garden was going to set up, when that garden was going to be created, at that time, the gardener had told the prince that he couldn't have animals as well as flowers in that garden, so the king decided to just have animals, not flowers. There was a murmur of approval at the excellence of the prince's decision, so many people would have decided the other way. At that time, those kids approved like the decision of the prince. According to them, many people would have decided the other way. Many people would have planted flowering plants rather than animal, but the prince allowed for just animals, not flowers. So some approved, those little kids approved like that example of, that decision of prince. According to them, if there had been someone at the place of prince, then they would have taken other decision. There were lots of other delightful things, pleasant, interesting in the park. There had been lots of other pleasant things in the park. There were ponds with gold and blue and green fish in them, and trees with beautiful parrots that said clever things at moment's notice. Look, there were ponds with gold, blue and green fishes in them. Very unique pond, having unique fishes. There were ponds having gold, blue and green colored fishes in them. Look, gold, blue and green colored fishes are a bit unique and very attractive, and those fishes were in those ponds. There had been many trees having parrots, and those parrots had been so clever they could speak, and everyone knows that some parrots imitate their owners speaking, others speaking, as they are trying to speak. And such parrots had been on the trees in that garden. They would say clever things when they see something. There were hummingbirds that hum all the popular tunes of the day. There had been some hummingbirds which sing some popular tunes whole day. It means the whole atmosphere of that garden would get fulfilled with nice music created by those hummingbirds. In that way, if there had not been flowers, but there had been such interesting things like ponds having different colored fishes, trees having speaking parrots, as well as hummingbirds, which would fulfill the whole garden with popular tunes of that day. Bertha walked up and down and enjoyed herself immensely, extremely, and thought to herself. But as soon as Bertha entered that garden, she started to walk up and down. She started to enjoy herself extremely heartily. She was fond of that garden, and as you know, that garden was not a commoner's garden. That garden was a royal garden of prince, and you must have imagined how that garden would be. And so the Bertha was so excited. She was hardly enjoying. If I were not so extraordinarily good once while wandering in that garden, Bertha told herself, if I were not so extraordinarily good, I should not have been allowed to come into this beautiful park and enjoy all that there is to be seen. While walking in that garden, while enjoying the atmosphere of that royal garden, she told herself that if she had not been so extraordinarily good girl, then she would not have been allowed to enter in that garden, and she would not have got such golden opportunity to enjoy such atmosphere. Due to her goodness, due to her extraordinarily good nature, due to her polite nature, she had been allowed in royal garden by the prince of that country, and so she thought she had been so lucky, having such good qualities, and so she had been allowed there. Look, and her three maidens clinked against one another as she walked and held to remind her how very good she really was. When she was walking at that time, three maidens would cling to each other, which were reminding her how good she had been. We have seen before that she would carry all her three medals. She had been achieved three medals due to her goodness, due to her punctuality, and she would pin those three medals to her dress, and whenever she would walk at that time, those three medals would cling to each other, and in that garden while walking, those three medals would cling each other, which were reminding her how good, how polite, how kindful and how good natured she had been. Look what happened. Just then an enormous wolf, huge wolf came crawling, inspecting into the park to see if it could catch a fat little animal for its supper, for its food. At the same time, one huge, tremendous size wolf came inspecting, observing the park to see whether it could get a fat little animal to it as its food. Just then, an enormous wolf came crawling into the park to see if it could catch a fat little animal for its supper. The first thing that it saw in the park was Bertha. The first thing in that park saw that was Bertha. Her pinafore means sleeveless dress, was so spotlessly white and clean that it could be seen from a great distance. Bertha had on one very bright white colored dress which could be seen from a great distance. Bertha had on one pinafore means one sleeveless dress which had been totally bright white colored without a single spot on it. Due to that plain white dress, she could be seen from a great distance. Bertha saw the wolf and saw that it was stealing. Stealing means reaching towards her, and she began to wish that she had never been allowed to come into the park. When Bertha saw that wolf at that time, she got frightened. She was really frightened. She saw the wolf and also saw that wolf was reaching towards her. When she saw the wolf reaching towards her at that time, she began to wish that she had never been allowed to come into the park. She should not have been allowed to come into the park because that was a very huge, enormous wolf, and it had been finding some little animals for it. But the first thing it saw was Bertha, and it has started to reach the Bertha, which frightened her too much. Okay, students, time is over. I repeat this passage once again. We continue this passage and further part in the next lecture. So, I stop here. Thank you very much. In the next lecture, I continue the further story, which is very, very interesting. Okay. Thank you very much.